I'm Gary with Hardcore Clutches.
I'm Steve B.
And today we're going to show you how to put a set of clutches in an 07 1200.
We're going to start off by removing the drain bolt, draining the fluid from the primary. You're going to want to clean off the bolt and throw a new O-ring on there. Alright, next up we're going to remove the shifter. Also the primary chain inspection cover. We're also going to replace the gasket on the primary chain inspection cover. Next we're going to remove the 6 bolts on the derby cover. When you get to the last bolt, you're going to want to keep pressure on the derby cover so you don't lose the spring on the inside as you take it off. We'll also be replacing the derby cover O-ring as well. We're going to turn the adjusting screw clockwise until the adjuster nut falls off. Now we're going to remove the ramp assembly. Remove the clutch cable coupling. Loosen the clutch cable adjuster with a 1/2 inch and a 9/16, and then remove the clutch cable end from the primary case. Loosen the chain tensioner at the bottom of the case. That'll be a 7/8 wrench. We're going to break all the primary case bolts loose using a ratchet, and then go ahead and use the impact to take them the rest of the way out. Be a little quicker. Remove the primary case, inspect it for any damage. After you get that cover off, we're also going to remove the gasket. We're going to replace it. It can be reused if necessary, but we're going to go ahead and replace it. This clutch kit covers a number of Sportsters, so you may not use all of the clutches that are provided. Now we're going to use a compression tool to remove pressure from the snap ring. And we're going to use a set of snap ring pliers and a screwdriver to remove the snap ring. Now use a pick or magnet to remove the old clutches and make sure to keep them in order.
That's going to be our last one. See? Then on the top side. But that's where the difference is. 19 friction surfaces versus 8 times 2, which is 16 friction surfaces. So you got more friction on the surface.
Refer to your service manual for proper clutch stack height, and make sure to pre-soak your clutches. Install the clutches with the clutch material facing in until the last clutch, which has clutch material on both sides, which is followed by the pressure plate and then the diaphragm spring. Now we're going to put the compression tool back on to apply the snap ring. Alright, once the snap ring is reinstalled, we're going to remove the compression tool and the clutches are done. Now we're going to thoroughly clean inside of the case and the cover itself. Make sure there's no debris in there. Make sure you have a nice clean surface for the new gasket. We're going to line up and install the case. You may have to lift the chain out of the way a little bit to slide the case on. Don't forget to reinstall the small sealer on the shifter. Right, now we're going to apply a small amount of Loctite to the primary cover bolts. We're going to snug the case up and then refer to your service manual for proper torque pattern. Alright, the primary cover bolts will be torqued to 100 to 120 inch-pounds. That's not foot-pounds. Definitely want to make sure that's inch-pounds.
Every inch-pound is different on the bikes, depending on the vehicle.
refer to your specific service manual for proper chain tension. We're going to reinstall the clutch cable and the ramp assembly to the coupling. Reinstall the adjusting nut and turn the adjuster screw counterclockwise until there is resistance, and then back to the right a quarter turn. Reinstall the locking plate and clutch adjustment spring, followed by a new O-ring and the derby cover. Now tighten up the drain nut and add some oil.
Drop it in.
This specific bike actually takes 1 quart.
The type of oil we're putting in is for the crankcase and the primary and the transmission. It can be used in any ore.
After the oil is added, reinstall the primary chain inspection cover. Now reinstall the shift linkage.
It can be done at home with ordinary tools.
Alright, congratulations. You guys got yourself a set of hardcore clutches.